Okay, we are live. I am
We are.
Sandy.
And I am Chloe. And
You
this
can
is
say it.
WordStitch.
This is
I don't know.
WordStitch.
Yeah, we're just going to do that thing. We're going to be unorganized today, like always.
No, we're not unorganized today. Today, we have a topic for our breaks. Remember, we were like
We
so
do.
organized. Yeah. So we are talking about editing and proofreading, like workflow, and what we do to handle that. Because we have different processes, I think, a little bit.
Maybe. I feel like we must have different processes.
Yeah.
I guess we won't know until we actually get into the. Oh, no, I know for a fact that we have different processes because you use Grammarly or one of those.
Yes, and I use different word processors. But we thought that would be interesting because we have both noticed that our products have become better edited over time. And so there must be something going well.
Right. Or we just don't care anymore.
No, that is not true. We totally care. We've improved our processes. Chloe's like a grammar nut. Like she knows all the rules. Not just she doesn't just know the rules and not like know them by ear kind of sense, like, oh, I'm pretty sure there's a comma that's supposed to go there. No. She knows why. Like,
yeah, I can't necessarily name the rule. That happens a lot. Like I can never remember what a dang split infinitive is to save my life, but I can explain why that needs to go there.
Yes. So when you make a mistake in editing, it is not because you don't know what you're supposed to do. It's like literally like an eye thing. Like you just missed it with your eyes. So we think it's a worthy thing to think about how to not do that. What are you working on today, Chloe?
I have no idea. My month of indecision continues. So I just redid a cover. I've done this cover so many times. I don't know why I'm like this when I have like other covers that actually need to be done for the first time or for the third time, actually, because the other one is Warren Staffy and that has already been done twice. I just finished that and I've got 3 books open with the potential of working on them. One needs some proofreading, one needs some scenes rewritten, and one needs to be finished. I don't know which one I'm going to open, though.
Well, so you'll have to surprise yourself in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. What are you working on?
I am working on that sequel, which is going like surprisingly well. I am. Yeah. Like I'm
stride on it. You figured your crap out. You hit your stride.
There are things going well. Yeah. Like I'm at another like difficult chapter today. There are 2 here that are going to be like a little bit rough, but I'm like 77,000 words through it or something like that.
That's fantastic.
I mean, that's probably only a little over half. But like, no, maybe it's closer to 2/3. Yeah.
What's your deadline on that?
So I wanted it drafted by the end of the month so that I could move on to the next book because that deadline is like August, and I feel like I need a full 2 months for the next one. So hopefully I can have a solid draft by like, let's say June 5th would be really good. And I think it's doable. Like I actually think that's possible. So
yes, you're chugging along on it. I think you're okay because you basically were starting from scratch a week ago, right?
Well,
like not from scratch, but like this like 77,000 that you're quoting right now is like 77,000 that has gone from 0 to 77,000 in the last.
It's more like it's gone from like 100,000 with only like 50,000 that count, maybe, to like the 70,000. So it's been good progress. But okay, so let's do our thing. Let's get started.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, here I have a real prompt, like a real challenge. Use a pause in your scene. Yeah.
Oh, I use pause all the time because I don't know a lot of words.
That is not true.
I don't. When I write, I panic. Anyways, it is 6 after the hour, so we are going to be writing until 16 after the hour. Good luck, everybody.
are done.
Ooh, how'd you do?
Like 200-ish words. I happen to be working on a new scene right now, so there were actually words to count.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's been really wild to like be feeling good about the story. Like it's sustained.
I feel like you've been stressed about this story for years. Like not just the series, but this particular story for as long as I have known you.
Yeah, probably like a solid 2 years.
For a surprisingly long time now.
Yeah. It's been a struggle. I don't know. I think I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to make it a particular way, and like now the other one's out, and like I kind of know, like I have a sense of how people might react to it, and so now I get to be like, well, it's my story now. If you don't want to be in this world, you already know. So we've got some other folks here who got 270 for her books with kittens, 202. We're all out there. What about you, Chloe?
I kind of like, in a sense, I wrote the same 8 words about 20 times because I ended up going a completely different direction and try to work on a tagline for A Christmas Demon for Clara. And the problem is that I already have a tagline that is way too long when there are actual character restrictions. So I'm trying to write a short tagline. It can't have anything to do with the longer one, just because the structure of the longer one, there's no way to pare down. I don't know. I hate this.
I totally have a tagline for you. You ready for it?
Okay. Am I going to think it's awful? Warn me. Is this going to be?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's just fun. It should be, he wants her lemon bars.
I had considered.
That's really funny.
I had considered something very close to that.
That's totally what you need to do.
Ultimately decided against it. I'm trying to figure out a good way to phrase the fact that they are a match made in hell, because he's a gluttony demon and she's a baker. But like it gets real wonky. I'm trying to phrase that in a clever way.
Yeah, no, I think he wants her lemon bars is the way to go. Like keep it short and simple.
Okay.
And just
I'll do it. Whatever. I'm gonna change it right now. That's gonna be.
That's gonna be it. I just caused this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like you also caused Magical Cave of Glowing Wonder.
Oh, I know. That's horrible.
Sandy is behind all of my best worst decisions. Yeah. I feel like that is the best book title ever because it warns people exactly what they're getting into. A Magical Cave of Glowing Wonder is the first book in my series I shouldn't have written. That is the actual series name.
I don't think I meant for you to use that at the time, but it's so good.
You didn't at all. And I feel like you actually got really mad at me when I did.
Ooh, okay, wait. No. There are a couple better taglines for you. Here's one. Oh, damn.
Oh, I like that. It is. I like that, Haley. Oh, God.
He wants her cinnamon rolls.
Not happening. I do like it, though.
I really like A Match Baked in Hell. That's adorable. That's better than he wants her lemon bars.
No. That's it right there.
That's it. Good work. Okay, so we have
now I can blame Haley for something as well. You're not the only one.
Thank you, Haley, for taking that pressure off me, because it's a lot to be in charge of somebody's like bad decision making. Yeah. Okay, wait. So we have a topic, right? We should talk about this like whole editing thing. So, do you want to start, Chloe? What's your like basic breakdown as far as like how you edit?
I feel like we need a slight backstory on this.
Okay, backstory.
So this came up with us because I am currently editing a project that I had put on the back burner 3 years ago, two or 3 years ago. That I had sent Sandy a draft that I considered to be fairly decently edited at the time, and now again it sat for 2 years, and then I started looking at it the other day, and it is awful. Like the edit, no, the edit itself, like the story is fine, but it is just absolutely filled with typos. There's tons of errors in it. So this is like the proofreading type of edit that I thought I had always been really good on, and apparently I've just gotten really good, and I didn't notice that I got better over time. Because I know now that I catch way more than what was in this. Like it was really bad how many I got in this. Yes,
So
go ahead.
when you say typos, do you mean like spelling errors or do you mean like punctuation grammar errors?
All of it. Anything that
Really?
would be in proofreading. I actually, this
Wow.
was my favorite in it because I get why it wasn't caught. I had seethe instead of see the.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like just all these really weird errors that like nowadays I don't do nearly as bad. And like I get really mad at myself when I catch them after I've published something.
Hmm.
But normally I only catch like two or three after it's already been published. So like they're clean edits. I'm not publishing stuff that's like really like filled with errors. They certainly meet industry standards when I'm publishing now. I still get real mad when I find them though, and I have like my biggest one is the her him issue,
Hmm.
which is a problem when you're writing sex scenes.
Hmm.
Like it gets real confusing when his limbs become her limbs. So that is the backstory for this. And Sandy, do you feel like you've also made
Oh,
great improvements with this over time?
yeah. I mean, for sure. I can't, I really wouldn't even want to go back and look at some of the stuff that I was doing much earlier, but like absolutely, even just like in the fall when I first published that like Angel novella, and I was a little lazy with it at the time, and I knew I was
Mm-hmm.
being a little lazy with it at the time. But there were so many more typos than I thought. Like so many more. And it's yeah, I mean that can be corrected later and the story still did
And
well, but it makes you feel like, wow, how did I like what happened? What did
I
I
feel
do?
like with what you're working on now too, some of this stuff is really old, right?
Oh yeah, and I'll go back and be like, what the was like there'll be terrible things. I have zero comma use. Like I'm totally inconsistent. I have no idea when it should come before a because or not. Like yeah, there's some really bad stuff that's going on. I guess we both have a good reason to think about this. And now we're gonna have to talk about what we do next time because we
Yes,
gotta
exactly. I staged that perfectly
you
to
did.
fill this one with the backstory so that on our next break, we'll actually talk about our current methods.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So what should we do for a prompt? Let's do your character realizes they made a mistake.
Okay. We're typing this at the same time because we both have a program going right now. Realizes they made a mistake and it's just going to be typo. Oh no, I got it. Yay. Okay. So it is 25 after. We are going to write for the next 25 minutes. So that is going to take us to 10 of the hour. Good luck with your writing or whatever you are working on.
sorry.
It's okay.
All right. I swear I looked like 5 seconds ago. Apparently it was more like 20 seconds ago, but whatever. I am almost at the end of that scene, so
Excellent.
yes, I'm gonna actually count those words. Let's see how I was doing there. I think that was like 673 words. I feel good about that. Yeah. How'd our folks do who are with us? 522 for books with kittens. Nice job. Hi, Leora. Leora spent the sprint looking up names because she needed to name a new character. I feel like I feel like there could be many misconceptions for writers because of that, you know? Like we have a disproportionate amount of time spent on baby naming websites.
Although I feel like for me, I'm actually normally looking at statistical sites.
Oh,
or
interesting.
like most popular names in this country in like the 17th century.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
I go more for those lists because, like, if I'm looking for like a traditional name from that country, and if I look now, they end up with like half of Western names, even if I'm looking at like a Russian page. So
yeah.
I normally go for at least like 19th century, if not earlier.
Nice. Haley got some website research done. Herb got in a nap. I think naps are very important for writers.
Yeah.
Actually, so.
Yeah, I do too. And also my naps keep getting ruined lately. So yesterday was it yesterday? 2 days ago. I've just gotten home from work and had lunch and laid down to take a little nap because we were having people over that night. We were doing a social distancing bonfire, and I'm in bed for like 5 minutes, and Ken is outside my door and says, "Hey, when you get up, tell me what you think of the new chair in the living room." Like, what? Well, you just woke me up, and like. You could have just asked me when I woke up what I thought of the chair. Most likely, I was going to give you my opinion on the chair, whether you asked me for it or not. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, naps don't usually get interrupted for me, but writing productivity can. Malcolm, now that he is working from home constantly, right, and has been forever, he still has not quite figured out that, like, if he walks into the room and I'm focusing, that doesn't mean I'm like angry at something or anything. He'll be like, "Are you okay?" "Yes, I'm fine. Leave me alone. I'm busy writing a fight scene."
This is the creative process. Leave me alone.
Okay. So speaking of processes, so you want to go first? What is your editing workflow thing now that you do to prevent problems?
It's always really funny whenever we have these conversations is I feel like you can agree with me on this. Every single time you ask me this, I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of do it. But
very true.
So for me, I think it's more the actual like writing process. I have it pared down into like very specific stages. I used to absolutely be that person who would like write 2 sentences and then edit the first sentence and then write the third sentence and then edit the first and second sentence and then edit the third sentence and then go back and edit the first sentence. You know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
I used to be one of those people that like edited as I was writing, and it took me forever to get anything done. And then by the time I got like 20,000 words in, the first 10,000 didn't even work anymore because I'd been doing this for so long. And then if I tried to do anything with it when it was finished, every line would be at a different step of editing. And then, you always have to start from the beginning when you edit. It was a mess. So that is no longer my process. I am a linear writer. So my process is pretty well simplified because of that. But so I will now do a rough outline. I was a pantser for years. And now just because I do, I do tend to write about 60,000 words a month, at least on my writing months when I'm not editing. And I work full time, so I really have to like streamline the entire process. So I do rough outlines where I just have like a paragraph for each scene, just to make sure that I keep my pacing up and that I never really have to stop to think while I'm writing. So I outline and then I write. And then if I need to do one pass on actual like major structural edits, like the story that I just wrote, I did not know how I was going to handle one of the plot lines until I was about halfway through it. So this story is going to have to actually have a pretty serious developmental edit. So that will be my next step of it, which will be next month. And then I will follow that with a fine-tune edit, which will also be next month. And then I will let it rest. And then I will do that proofread. I can probably go from the developmental to the fine-tuning pretty much back to back, but I'm going to give myself, hopefully I have a month to give myself a break on. It won't be a month. I just did oh, no, it will be a month. Beginning of August, I'll do that proofread. As Sandy mentioned before, I know everything.
What you do about grammar, okay? You're good grammar.
Very specifically of grammar and proofreading. If y'all were here last week for the, oh God, what was it? Stick in the mud. I was actually right, and it did get dashes in it. If you ever have to use the phrase stick in the mud, there are dashes. But I just happen to have a natural, very strong control over all of this stuff. So I can get it done all in one pass to be happy to publish it. After I do the publish, I will probably have one more editing pass where I'll just catch like 3 or 4 errors when I'm like reading it to move on to a sequel or what have you. But again, like there are industry standards on that, and in the genre that I'm I'm sure that it's different from genre to genre, but in my genre, 3 to 4 errors in an 80,000 word novel is absolutely fine for traditional publish. So I don't sweat that. But that is the basic on my process. And I think it's really important to have that delineation between each step, because that's what prevents me on getting bogged down on like reading the same sentence 800 times.
So for you, that like space between all of the edits makes it so that you're never like editing just one sentence and then going on to the next, but like it's just a little less muddled. You have more chances to catch everything in one sweep.
Yes. I also, one thing that I did not mention in that, which I feel like most people, well, I can't say that most people know this rule because they don't. A lot of people do. I will reformat it several times. I know a lot of people actually like print it out to do edits. I won't do that, but I will do my writing and my developmental edit in Scrivener. And then I will do my fine-tune edit in Word. And then I will proofread in Word. And if I'm not 100% confident in it, I will then convert it to an ebook and proofread it that way. And then that, like, after it's already published, I will read it in the ebook format to proofread it that time as well.
Yeah. Okay. So
that helps me catch a lot.
So this is one method, sort of like doing breaks between linear writing, different places where you proofread different things. I think we have some overlap, like some decent overlap there, but you guys will have to hear about that after our next writing break.
Ignore. Oh my God, my timer is so wrong right now.
Sorry. Here, I think this is funny. Your character knows everything.
Oh God, that's gonna come back to haunt me.
It was so funny.
Okay, so it is. It should be dead on the hour. So we are going to write for the next 30 minutes. So we will come back at 1/2 to get Sandy's editing process.
Okay. Okay. We are back.
How'd you do?
I like at least 500 words and then a few more. I've almost finished a chapter that I'm actually like surprisingly happy with again. So it all goes well. What about you?
I messed around with a couple other covers and I tweeted and I wrote I think a sentence. I don't know if the period actually got onto the sentence.
We should do like we should find a social media expert or something, see if anybody from AuthorTubers wants to talk about social media, and we should interview them to ask them how they manage it, because that is for sure not my
It'll all be like
stream.
a clever ploy because it's really just tell us how to do this, but for free.
Clever
it's
ploy.
Exposure.
It's asking somebody to talk about something that they're good at with people who are not good at and who have very little hope of being amazing. Yeah. Well, maybe you do, but I am that's not my thing. So okay, so
I don't.
You don't.
I don't. I have no idea what I'm doing. And like whenever you get into platform stuff, I'm screwed.
Yeah, I have. It's not my strong suit, which is bad, but not. But I can talk about editing. Yeah. So okay.
Right.
And so
yeah, you know what we're good at is editing.
I feel good about my process at this point, and I don't. There's a delay right now, isn't there? It's a. Oh,
There's gotta be a delay because you're answering my questions really, like you're responding to me weirdly.
And
it is like a beautiful sunny day, and therefore it is very aggressively thunder and lightning outside. So it could be me.
Oh. Yeah, because your picture is not synced up with your voice. That's okay. It's fine. I'll talk about my process and hopefully it'll be fixed. Yeah. It's my break, damn it. I don't think I can fill 15 minutes with this, but okay. So I, in order to edit, so I start my process in Scrivener, just like Chloe does, and I do my major revisions in Scrivener also. And I think that's probably really important because I think that when you're still doing massive like cut and paste or like major developmental things, it's too hard to keep that clean. Like it's just like you're just not going to be able to do it in a Word document as easily, and probably there will be errors. So I'd sort of just as soon keep that all in Scrivener and assume that there will be issues, and get to a draft that I'm like happy with. And then when I feel like I've got a story in place, like I'm not going to have to do massive developmental anything, it's going to be like line edits, no copying and pasting, then I export my manuscript to Word and I do my edits there. And ideally there's some space in between, but a lot of times I don't have time for that. So could be a month, could be a couple days. And when I edit, so it depends on the project. If it's a project I need to do fast and it's a relatively simple story, then I edit. I do my first editing pass with Grammarly on, and this is probably one of the biggest differences, right? Like, so Chloe, I don't think uses Grammarly at all, right? Yeah, okay. So because she knows everything about grammar, all right, but I don't know why I do many things, and I'm decent with it, or I've learned better, but like there's always stuff that I've messed up. So I really like Grammarly for catching the times when I've used commas wrong, or the times when I've maybe used like a word that I shouldn't have. I spelled it wrong. What is that, a homophone? I think. Yeah. I do this somewhat frequently. It's pretty good at actually catching pronouns. Like it'll do a decent job of correcting it if I said, say, like his instead of he. But I mean, you have to know when you use a program like that you can't like accept all. So I mean, I don't think you even have that option in Grammarly, but it is definitely the sort of program where if you're using it in Word for an editing pass, like it's massive spell checking in real time and grammar checking and punctuation and word use, but you have to go through literally line by line and see if you agree with Grammarly. So it doesn't supplement for your own knowledge or replace your own knowledge. It does supplement your own knowledge. That's probably the better way to put it. So I just did that actually recently with a manuscript, and I happened to have a couple days before the pre-order deadline somehow. So I'm letting it rest for like 2 days, and then tomorrow I'll get back to like the next part. And so this time I have enough time to do a second editing pass, and my second editing pass, or maybe this is my first proofreading pass, I let the Word text-to-speech reader read me my story, and I do it out of order. So I I'll not out of order on like any particular page, but I'll do chapter 17 and then chapter 8, because I think I'm more likely to have a fresh mind thinking about it that way. So I will let Word read me the entire story, and sometimes a text-to-speech reader will you'll hear something different than you meant to write it, or like it will say the word that you misspelled, right? And now you know that like you didn't mean to say seethe there, you meant to say she is, but like somehow autocorrect just did something wonky. So that's like my ideal. And then I'll convert to, so I import my stuff back into Scrivener at that point, so that I can then export it into an ebook and also into Adobe InDesign. And then I proofread from there. So I read my ebook to myself. I actually record these nowadays. Like I don't necessarily intend to use them for audiobooks, but I record as if I'm going to make an audiobook because I read slower and more carefully that way. And I catch things when I'm reading out loud that I would not have caught otherwise. So I'll go through in order that time, every chapter again, and read it to a recorder as if somebody's listening. And I think that is probably the part where I catch the vast majority of my typos, right? Because I mean, hopefully at that point my like punctuation is decent, but that would be the one where like I'm most likely to find something dumb that I did, that just I didn't catch anywhere else. So how many passes is that? It's the draft, the revisions, 2 edits, and then a proofreading with recording. So at least 5 before it gets to the page. That is my process. I did that in 6 minutes, I think.
That wasn't bad. And that's not bad, doing 6 passes. 5 passes? You said 5 and then you said 6 and then 6 got stuck in my head.
I mean, there is a difference, I will say. With my YA, I will also print like an epic novel and go through that before I do Grammarly. So that'll be multiple passes, but and beta readers and such, that changes everything. But if you're doing it just for yourself. Okay, sorry, comment.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I don't know. The printing on paper thing has never really, I've never seen the value in it. Like I know tons of people who do it. That's not me discounting the method. It just, for me personally, I've never understood the value behind it.
It's like a slower look. Like I sometimes, so I don't do it with like novellas or romance. I don't feel like it's worth it for that. But with a YA book where I've got like a lot of threads that I'm following and it doesn't, and I really need it to make sense from like chapter to chapter. I think the value of printing it out for me is I will like between say like a revision, and I mean that process might go revise in Scrivener, export to Word, read the whole thing again for like an edit without Grammarly, print the whole thing, read the whole thing on paper for an edit without Grammarly, and that I don't know. I mean, there's something about seeing your words on paper that like makes them look different, and you go through slower and read more carefully. So I don't know if you can catch like proofreading errors as well that way, but I'm definitely more likely to catch a continuity error that way.
Yeah, it sounds like the people I hear who have said they do it all, for most people, it seems to be an early, like after your developmental edits, before your line edits, before your proofreading.
Like before you let it go to a beta reader, but after you've done what you think you need to do to make it look really good.
Yes.
Although, I mean, that's an interesting thing too. So like where does like beta reading fall if you do it? If I have time to read your stuff, or if somebody does, like where does that fall in your process?
If I am sending it to an actual beta, it's going to be after the 2 edits, or 1 edit if it only needed 1 edit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't need a developmental edit, then it will be after my line edit.
So this is probably another place where we differ too, because in romance, I don't worry as much about beta reading, right? So like Chloe might get something of mine, and I might be publishing as she's reading, which I think is the same, vice versa. But if it's YA and I'm doing an actual, like let's say I paid an editor, or like there's multiple people critiquing it, then I do that entire process, then give it, except for the recording. The proofing is just it's just me at that point. But so I do that entire process, then give it to my readers, and then it's like another set of edits and proofreading and such, because I think I'm just so much more likely to make major changes at that point.
And I won't accept a beta read if it hasn't been through at least 1 or 2 edits either.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll reject it. I'll tell them, just because if I keep seeing the same grammatical error over and over and over again, I won't. Yeah. I'll just get really mad at it. and I'll send it.
As a beta reader, you're not an editor, right? Like that's not really your job. So
right, and it makes it difficult to read. That's the thing, is that having a lot of grammatical errors in it, and just like errors in general, makes it harder to read. Your beta reader is there to make sure that your story and your characters are actually all working, and it should be something where, it shouldn't need massive edits at that point. It should just be something where, if there is like a big error, it's caught before it goes out, or if there's just continuity, or like if it needs another scene or something. But you need it to be something that your beta reader can actually read, as opposed to editing as they read. And so to that end, I won't take a beta read until it's been through a few edits already.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why I work so hard to make my stuff clean at first too, because I don't really want my beta readers distracted by my stupid errors, right? Like I want them to tell me when they're bored, or when something was funny, or like when something was confusing, or when something was unbelievable. But I don't want them doing any line edits, because I mean, it's not their book, right? So and
to that end, I also want to be able to do line edits, because they're rare enough that if I see an error, I'll take the time out to flag it, because it is like a stupid homophone or something like that. Like, oh, just a note, you used the wrong word. But if I'm going to be spending all of my time doing that, then I don't want to read it.
Yeah. So I don't think our processes are that different, except I'm probably more like, I don't know,
a lot more
maybe anal. Yeah. That's probably right.
I don't like Grammarly, because it flags so much stuff, and I have so few errors. And so I end up wasting a lot of time reading sentences to figure out why they're a run-on, when actually it's just a really long sentence. And maybe I could chop it up, but but probably not, and vice versa. Like, why was this sentence flagged as a fragment? Oh, it's not. It just caught it wrong. Or
Or
I
it is
don't
a
know.
fragment and you wanted it that way.
Yeah, yeah. And it just ends up being me going like 99% of it is I just wasted time reading this.
Yes.
And I won't read my stuff out loud because it's smut and I'm embarrassed.
Oh, that's the best stuff to read out loud. We should get to
No,
some
we
last
should do
writing.
our last sprint. It is time for our last sprint. It is a 10-minute sprint and potato, potato.
Potato, potato.
Potato, potato. That's the only way to pronounce potato. You say potato, I say potato.
Actually, in this case, we both do say potato, but still.
Yeah, because you're crazy if you say it any other way. Look at. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So we're
I'm
gonna
muting this randomly. I just jumped the gun. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
How dare you talk about potatoes like potatoes?
I know. I got so upset.
We're gonna write for the next 10 minutes. So we'll see you guys at 4 of the hour for our farewells.
Okay.
Fun fact, I used the word pause in the 3 sentences that I wrote.
Wow.
I used the word prompt kind of.
Nice.
Not this one. There were no potatoes. These are wolf shifters. I'm pretty sure they don't like potatoes.
I understand. I am almost done with a chapter. Like I have maybe 2 sentences left in it, and then I will be done. Yeah, that is really good, because this was one that I had to like draft from scratch, and it was, I don't know, like the story needed some drama. It had to have drama. So I'm feeling kind of good about it in any case. Hopefully, if you guys were with us, you got some work done, or if not writing, maybe you got some research done, some sleep in, some covers edited. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Math homework done.
Math homework has been happening.
Math homework has totally been happening. Yeah.
Yeah. I tweeted, and I feel like that is part of writer life.
Yeah, for sure. And we should, we really should consider like a social media one, but it's going to have to be like these are the things that are hard for us. Does anyone have any ideas?
Short answer, all of it.
Yeah. Maybe we could do one on formatting ebooks first.
Definitely got supper done. That was also important. I thankfully do not have to deal with that on Mondays.
Yeah, no, my husband is cooking today. I think he's making something delicious. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it when he cooks. It's a very welcome treat. So okay, so we will be back next week. What is next week?
The 1st.
The 1st. Yes. And I guess that's it, huh?
Yeah.
We still have to work on our outro.
Yeah, because we just kind of zone out in the middle. And like if I'm borrowed out to somebody else's show, I'm pretty good at this. But here I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Y'all know me.
You know, I think I just feel like at this point we've all got a lot of work done. We did a good job. Yay us.
I also feel like we were by ourselves for so long that we forget that people are like that there is an actual format and people are doing things. Apparently, we're supposed to introduce ourselves at the beginning. Did you know that? Like beyond the okay. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm Chloe Alice Balkin, and I am a paranormal romance and also contemporary erotic romance author. You can find me on Amazon and on Kindle Unlimited. And my contemporary erotic romance is wide because Amazon hates erotic romance. So why give them all of the credit? Yeah, I don't have any extra stuff going on right now, though.
And I'm Sandy Vasher, and you can also find me on Amazon, and I write YA literature, but also some romance under pen names. And we are really appreciative of the fact that you guys are here, because it is so much more fun to us to talk to people than just ourselves. Like, I mean, there's only so long that you can tell somebody else how you edit, and they know your process.
I mean, when we're by ourselves, we're not talking about writing.
No, not usually. All right. So we'll see everybody next week,
guys.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. Oh, people got stuff done. That's awesome.
People got stuff done. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.